Yo, 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 yo. What's
Noobalicious.
happening?
What's going on, man?
Tango, I don't know. Again, I couldn't find anything that works. What's going on, man?
Tango is what it is. Just chilling, getting ready for baseball season, watching spring training highlights, watching Alec Manoah just be brutal in spring training. What's
No,
going on
also
with
been
you?
brutal is Joe Musgrove.
Has he?
He's been brutal, and he's on my fantasy team, so I don't need that. Don't
No.
need that whatsoever.
We'll just
But it's
see
whatever.
how he does for
Yeah.
in the regular season.
Manoah, I mean, he can come back. It's just the spring. Maybe he's just working on something.
Did you
Same with Musgrove.
Did you see what he did? What Manoah did?
I did not see what he did.
He had one start. He faced 11 batters in an inning and 2/3. He gave up 3 hits, 1 walk, and he hit 3 batters.
Yikes, dude. Yeah. That's not great. Did he hit him with the fastball?
At least one. I didn't it wasn't on TV. Thankfully, I wasn't watching it. I was just following it on the MLB Game Day thing.
Okay,
but
that's a little bit. I mean, I don't think you can be concerned, but since it is Manoah with his track record, it is concerning more so than maybe someone else per se.
Yeah, it's not ideal, but
yeah,
we'll see.
Not ideal. We'll see what happens, man. He can. I will be pleasantly surprised by anything he does successfully, I guess.
Thankfully, we have some actual pitching depth kind of in the minors, and we brought in that Yariel Rodriguez and stuff. So if he doesn't fare well, we got a couple of at least serviceable options.
That's true. That's true. I love to hear that.
Chris Sale looked good for you guys the other day.
He did. He did look very good. I'm pretty stoked about that. I'm very stoked about that, actually. Really hope he could just, if he could just log 15 starts this year and be healthy for a potential playoff run, that'd be huge. That's a win in my book, for real. But what are we doing today? Are we judging the AL? We're going through the AL today.
Yeah, we'll do a little bit of American League, what we think's going to happen. Again, season hasn't started yet. Just a little bit too early picks for who might win the divisions, who we think has the best shot making the playoffs and stuff like that. Just our overall thoughts on the landscape of the American League in 2024.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there any team to you that just before we get into it, do you think there is a clear best team in the American League right now?
Oh, it's hard to not. Well, is it hard? I don't know. The Rangers, it's hard to not really pick them, but are they the best overall team? I don't have them winning the West. So maybe I think that the Houston Astros are the best team in the American League right now.
Possible for sure. I mean, just who can count them out?
You can't.
Who can really count that out? Where do you want to start?
Should we start there in the West?
Let's do it, man.
The Wild Wild West.
The Wild West, man. I'm looking. I got the PECOTA standings pulled up. They have Houston as the top team with a projected 94.8 wins. What do we think about that?
Seems pretty legit. I have Houston. They'd be my pick to win the West right now. I just think
I agree.
Overall, I know their starting pitching's kind of iffy. I don't know where everybody's at as far as injuries and stuff like that. But
that and Christian Javier had kind of a down season. Verlander's, he's about 50 years old. I would say he ages like wine. He gets better with age, but it's to the point where it's I don't know. Might be a little bit of an issue.
Yeah. You really don't 41. Know with Verlander. I mean, you still got Framber. He kind of didn't have the greatest year last year. JP Francis all right. I mean,
he's actually. I'm just looking at Fangraphs right now, and it has Verlander and JP France on the injured list as just shoulder soreness, shoulder inflammation. But I mean, that's never a good thing.
No,
never a good thing.
But that back end of their bullpen, though, I think is like, I don't even know what's a tier above elite. Like, it's so good with Hader in there now.
Ascended. Yeah, maybe it's ascended. Dude, Hader, Presley, and Brian Abreu. That's going to be absolutely just a dice fest, man. An absolute dice fest. They're going to be so nasty. Just so absolutely disgusting. Brian Abreu is just insane. And Ryan Presley's been there for a long time. I don't think people realize how good Brian Abreu is and like the kind of nastiness his stuff has. Like he'd be a closer on any other team. I'm looking at FanGraphs, and their power rankings for relief pitchers are number 6 for Hader, number 15 for Presley, and number 18 for Brian Abreu. Like having, I know projections aren't the end all be all.
3 of the top 15 in all of baseball.
Yeah, 3 of the top 20 is pretty nuts. Pretty nuts, man.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that. And I mean, and their lineup's just like solid all the way throughout.
It really is, man. It really is. And Yainer Diaz was a pleasant surprise. Chas McCormick was a pleasant surprise. Jeremy Pena, he's going to play a fantastic shortstop. I'm not really 100% sure what the bat's going to bring. If he's like league average, it's still an amazing player. So like it's just
you still got the core guys, or like the guys who've been there for a while. Altuve, Bregman, Kyle Tucker, Jordan, like
Jordan, just I want to see 600 at bats from him. I don't think we've seen that.
60 bombs, I heard you say.
60 bombs,
60
man.
bombs.
It could happen. It could happen. Even though he's never hit 40, I would love it too. Just as a baseball fan.
He'll do a Jose Bautista, except for not. Bautista went from 13 to 54.
That's nuts, man. Like that's absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's just unreal right there. I love it though. And that picture of you and him looks nice, man.
It does.
Good picture, dude.
It was nice. It was a good time. I was worried because they said he wasn't going to like sign stuff, but then he did, and he was nice about it, and got a jersey and a picture signed, and now they're framed up and looking sweet. And you can't see it. It's down the hallway this way.
That's just so cool, man. That's just so sick.
So they say Houston. I say Houston. Who do you think takes the American League West in 2024?
I agree. It's Houston.
You agree? Houston? How close is Texas going to be behind? Do you think I am assuming we're all thinking Texas is going to be second. Maybe
I do think Texas is second. I do. But I don't. Pacoda has Texas only winning 86 games. I think they're going to be closer to the 90, 91, 92 range.
Yeah,
I know there's
like they're coming off. They're coming off obviously winning the World Series, but man, the last third of the season last year, they weren't amazing. They were amazing to like the first half, and then they kind of fell off. But I almost think it's going to be backwards this year. I think they're going to start off slow, and then once they get all their pitching back, and like after the All-Star break, they'll just.
Yep. You literally read my mind. Like that was exactly what I was going to say, almost verbatim. So I need you to stop tapping my phone. All right.
Never.
Don't tap my living room. All right. It's messed up. And you know everything that I know.
We always have similar thoughts. You know, it'd probably be more exciting for people if we argued with each other a lot, but it doesn't usually happen.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't, man. But it could happen. It could happen. Who you got coming in third?
Hot take, not Seattle. I have the Los Angeles Angels. I think they're going to surprise people this year.
I do agree with you. I think the Angels.
There's no pressure on these guys anymore. Shohei Ohtani is gone. It's just whatever. It's Mike Trout, and baseball is the last thing on my mind, Rendon, and then a bunch of young guys with a lot of upside. and like a decent bullpen starting is okay, but they got nothing to lose right now. And if
they really don't, man.
If they ball out, they'll be like, I'm trying to think of like a similar team, like Seattle a couple years ago.
Yeah, or like maybe Miami this past year or something.
That's a better, like Miami. But Miami made the playoffs last year. Who saw that coming?
That's true. They had a horrendous second half, though. Horrendous. But they got it there. They got there, which is really all that matters.
Yeah, their payroll's like half of the Mets, and what the Mets do last year, absolutely nothing.
Nothing, dude, absolutely nothing. And I didn't have that. Like, I did not project that to happen. Like, the Mets doing absolutely nothing. That is nuts. Absolutely nuts.
No, I would have picked them to maybe even win the division. Like, before the season last year, like, nobody expected the Braves to hit 1 billion home runs.
No, I thought the Braves were going to be good, but I'd be very, very, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't worried about the Mets if they didn't terrify me. If I didn't see the apple in center field when I slept. In my dreams, you know?
You know what? That's
absolutely crazy.
That's a scary dream. That's the center field.
Yeah, it is. It is. One time I had a dream that a cheeseburger was eating me. Was that from Seinfeld? That's not a great dream either. That's not a great dream either.
I'm having a dream where the Los Angeles Angels finish ahead of Seattle. Sorry, Mariners fans. I know you guys are very passionate.
Very passionate. I love the Mariners. I really do. I do think they come in third place.
Yeah,
I do. They're simulated. They should. If everything goes well. They are sitting right at 84.2 wins according to Pacoda. And I think they're probably going to be around there, maybe like 84, 85, 86, somewhere in that range. I love their starting rotation. I really do. I think the back end of the bullpen with Munoz and their pickup of Gregory Santos, who's disgusting, that's a very decent back end of the bullpen with those two guys. I just have questions about the cohesiveness of that lineup. You know, I love J-Rod. I love Cal Raleigh. JP Crawford had a fantastic year. I hope we see more of the same.
That guy had like the most ridiculous, like, I don't think he'll ever have as good of an offensive year as he did last year.
He may not, but man, it was a sight to see. I'm just worried about, like,
I've read something about him that was like every hit that he barreled up was a home run or something. Like, his barrel percentage was super low, but every barrel he hit that was a fair ball was a home run or something. It was something like that.
What?
Maybe not exactly that, but it was like something kind of ridiculous where it was just like,
dude needs to just find more barrels then.
Apparently.
Yeah, that's crazy. But it's the questions I have are just, they traded for Jorge Polanco. They sent 4 players over for Jorge Polanco, who's going to be a free agent at the end of the season. He has missed significant time the last 2 years, right? Mitch Garver, I like his bat. He's a little bit older. It seems like every other year is fantastic. Every other year is bad. Which one are you going to get this year? They traded away Robbie Ray, which is fantastic because they have too much pitching. Or you can never have too much pitching, but they need hitting compared to their surplus of pitching. They brought back Mitch Haniger. And I don't know if he's going to produce or how much he's going to produce. They brought in Luke Raley from the Rays. He had a fantastic year last year, but he strikes out a ton. That's the most success he's had. That's the most playing time he's had. So it's just like, can he do it again? And Ty France, I like Ty France a lot. I really do. And I think maybe I'm not giving him as much credit as I should. But is he going to be as productive as you need him to be at the first base position? He had 12 home runs last year, hitting 250 with a 104 WRC plus. So I'm like, how do we feel? There's a lot of questions. If they play up to their potential, it's possible that they are a great team. But those question marks scare me a little bit.
Yeah, the thing with Seattle has been the same thing last year and even the year they made the playoffs. You just kind of look at their lineup and you're just like, I'm not. It's like, how do they win so many games? It's kind of like
True.
like besides Julio and like obviously like Cal Raleigh, like is decent. He might be my most hated player on that team. He's just a Blue Jay killer. Every time we play him, it's like 2 home run games. Like every time, it's crazy.
That's wild.
But I don't know. Yeah, I'm yeah, Haniger, Garver, Rayleigh, Polanco. Like I don't know if it is better than Suarez, Teoscar Hernandez, the guys they had last year.
Yep.
I don't know. The lineup I think it's just I don't know. I just don't know.
I feel like we'd have similar questions if the lineup was the same.
Yeah. I just feel like I don't know. They always seem to overperform though. Like I can't take that away from them. Like they make things happen. I was surprised that they missed the playoffs last year. I thought they had the magic for a while. At the beginning of August, I think they won a bunch of games, and then and Texas was kind of reeling, and it looked like, and it was crazy. It came down to like the last 3 games between Houston, Seattle, and Texas. Any one of them could have made the playoffs, won the division, and missed the playoffs. And it was just like all a matter of like who won the right amount of games.
Do we have potential for game 163 anymore? Is it just the tiebreaker?
It's just tiebreakers
that sucks,
now,
man. I want to see game 163s. Mm-hmm. Like I want to see chaos. I would love to see chaos.
There was almost like there was potential with like 4 or 5 games left for those 3 and the Jays to all end up with the same record. They all could have had a 4-way tie.
That was 2021, right?
No, last year.
Oh, that was last year. Okay, my mistake. I know the end of 2021 had the potential to be pretty crazy too, if I'm not mistaken. Or was that 22?
21. Really, the Jays needed the Yankees or the Red Sox to lose the last game of the year, and they both won after we won, and then we missed.
I think the Mariners were fighting for
91 games and missed the playoffs.
That's pretty wild, man. That's pretty wild. So I'm guessing you have the Mariners in 4th place, right?
Yes, Oakland is going to be 5th place.
Okay, we're right there. I'm right there with you. Pacoda has the Angels winning 74 games. You obviously have them. Wait, did you say they're going to have a winning record, or did you just say they're going to finish 3rd? Because that might be a loaded question, actually. I don't know.
I think they will be over 500, the Angels.
Okay.
And I think they'll flirt with the wild card spot. I don't know if they'll get in.
That'd be wild, man. That'd be wild. I love it. I always said it'd be hilarious if the Angels made the playoffs the first year that Shohei was gone and the Dodgers missed it somehow.
They should do what
I don't think that's going to happen whatsoever. What?
They should do what the Nationals did after Bryce Harper left and win the World Series.
That was nuts, man. I feel bad for Bryce too, man. That sucks.
Be awful all year and then win the World Series. That's all you got to do, Angels.
Yeah, they had losing record at the deadline? I think they had a losing record.
They went ridiculous over the last 40 games.
Oh man, that was nuts, man. I was just blown away. I think everyone was. Howie Kendrick, our Lord and Savior, pretty much.
Yeah,
crazy home runs.
The LA night sky. But yeah, I'm being a bit bold saying that I think LA is going to be above 500, but
that's okay.
Let's be bold. I think Seattle disappoints and LA surprises people just because I think there's a lot of pressure on Seattle to kind of figure it out. And there's no pressure on the Angels to do anything. And they still have a pretty talented team. Like they got Trout, Taylor Ward, Rendon, Ohapi, Zach Neto, Nolan Shanwell. Like their offense isn't bad.
Shanwell's an on-base machine.
Maybe Joe Adell will bring his spring training heater into the regular season for once.
Dude, for real. The ultimate quad A player, man. When's it going to happen? Something's got to give. I want to see him do well. I really do. Like, live up to the potential. It's kind of crazy how the Angels have had that sort of situation with their prospects. Like Joe Adell was a big timer. Like
Oh
I
yeah,
don't remember how high he got up in the prospect rankings, but we were stoked about. I was stoked about him for a long time. Thought they were going to have Trout and Joe Adell in the outfield. Like no, they're going to go crazy together, but it just hasn't happened.
this didn't quite work out.
Nope. I do have the Angels coming in fourth, but I do think they're going to be better than they were last year. Last year they won 73 games. Pacoda has them winning 74. I got them winning like 79 to 81, somewhere in that range. I think it's feasible.
Yep.
I just don't trust their starting rotation to get better and improve. Now, there's still free agents out there. I mean, we still got Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery, which is a topic for a whole nother debate. But if they were one of those guys were to go to Los Angeles, I think that changes my mind about things.
That can make a big difference.
But it has not happened. So therefore, Angels for me fourth, I mean, and Oakland for both of us last place.
Yeah. Here's the bigger question: is Oakland going to be the worst team in the American League this year?
You know what? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no.
Who is? Because we'll go to that division next. Then
take a guess. Take a guess.
The White Sox?
Yep. Absolutely. They're going to be horrendous, I think. I almost want to say that they're going to be the worst team in baseball, but I think someone else beats them on that, to be honest. AL Central.
AL Central. This one was difficult for me, man. I switched my mind many times.
I think either you rearrange the top four as much as you want and keep Chicago fifth. I think that is a reasonable projection. Almost. It's kind of nuts. You could sell me on any of these top four. You could give me a reason why any of those top four can win the division, and I would believe you, depending on what that reason is. But each one of these teams make their case. Who do you have number one?
I have the Cleveland Guardians at number one.
Really?
Yeah. I changed my mind so many times. It started with KC. I had Minnesota there. And then I went to Cleveland. I think their pitching is just what's going to carry them. Maybe they get a couple. I don't think they need to score a lot of runs. They could probably have. I think they actually could have a negative run differential and win the division. Like that's how bad that division is. And I don't think you're going to score a ton off them. Shane Bieber doesn't even need to be that good. I don't think, because they have younger guys who I think are better.
Yep. Shane Bieber went to Driveline too. Apparently his fastball velo is back up closer to where it was during his Cy Young season. Granted, it was a shorter season, but he was crazy that year. So might be seeing a resurgence for Shane Bieber.
Well, that would even just help my case. You still have Clase in the bullpen, J-Ram, the Naylor brothers.
Yep.
It's
James Karinchak. He actually had kind of a rough season last year from what I remember. Same with Scott Barlow, but I didn't realize Scott Barlow was part of that bullpen. Their rotation is very, very good, very talented. I think, this team didn't get better, but I think I'm going to have to go with the Twins still. I'm still going to have to go with the Twins just because were you done talking about the Guardians?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, good. Because I felt terrible if I just cut you off.
All I'm going to say is the first time I did my rankings for this division, I had them in fourth place, and then I somehow convinced myself they're going to win. So that's where this division sits with me. Those top four interchangeable, except for I never put Detroit at number one. Everybody else did, but Minnesota Twins.
Putting Detroit number one.
Minnesota Twins are going to do it.
I do. Even with the loss of Maeda and Sonny Gray, I just think I really like Pablo Lopez. I really like Joe Ryan. I think Bailey Ober is a little bit slept on, I think, by a lot of people. They did just bring Desclafani, which is not really, he doesn't really move the needle for me. Chris Paddock, maybe not so much, but I do think I like Louis Varlin to be in the rotation. He has some pretty good stuff. I've heard really good things about him. Dude, if Correa bounces back and Royce Lewis is healthy, there's some things to really like about that lineup.
Yeah, they should score a lot of runs.
Yeah, Julian has another year if he can hit lefties a little bit better. If he doesn't hit lefties, they can bring up Brooks Lee, who can hit lefties. They have a pretty decent bench. Like, I think Jeffers is a very slept-on catcher, in my opinion. He's pretty solid. Vasquez off the bench, like that's a solid little catching duo. They have some depth. They got Manuel Margot. They got Kyle Farmer. Willie Castro's got some great versatility. And can't forget about Johan Duran in the bullpen. Guy's lights out.
Yeah, he's nasty. Yeah, they're good. Like they're good. I have them in third place though.
That's perfectly okay. I think that is perfectly okay.
But again,
absolutely.
Like in my second round, I had them winning the division. So like it's so hard to know.
It's very tough.
I still think like whoever wins it, they're going to be the only team from the Central. I think that squeaks in. I don't think two teams from the Central will make the playoffs.
I still think they could have a 500 record and make the playoffs. They could be like the D-backs last year, making it in the playoffs, 84 wins. Right now, dude, it's actually close for Pacoda. Cleveland is projected 83.6 wins. Minnesota 84.5. How do we feel about that?
That's pretty fair. Yeah, 85-ish wins. What did they have last year? They had 90 something, didn't they? The Twins?
87, I believe.
87? I thought they had more.
I believe 87. I could be wrong.
Maybe not. Something in my brain thought they won more games than the Blue Jays did.
87 and 75. Yep.
87. Oh, so they're two back. Yeah.
Yep.
Plus 119
I'm actually
run differential. Ooh.
I think you ready? Who's your number 2?
The Tigers.
Okay.
All those young bucks and solid pitching.
They got better. I think they got better this offseason.
They're just another like no expectation team that I think is gonna do well. Like they finished second in the division last year. They were not good.
Yeah. I don't think they were as bad as people thought they were either. They finished 78 wins. That's actually higher than what I thought they did.
Yeah, I honestly didn't realize they finished in second until I was looking at this today.
I didn't either. But second through fifth in that division didn't really matter, eh? I kind of like what they're doing. They're my Tigers are my number 2 as well. I really like what Riley Green improved on last year, same with Spencer Torkelson. I didn't really know about Kerry Carpenter until last year.
Yeah, he kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, they got Mark Canha, who's a valuable, like, he's a solid player. Colt Keith could be fun and exciting, I believe. They just signed him to an extension before even playing in the majors. Jake Rogers is a little slept on.
Yeah, they basically got Gio Urshela for free. Like he's getting like $1.5 million, I think.
That's crazy. He's from what I remember, he's pretty atrocious in the field, but his bat will be okay.
Yeah,
from what I do remember,
they'll be good. I think they'll be good.
They will. And they brought in Kenta Maeda.
Yeah, Jack Flaherty, Maeda. Like if Casey Mize can ever like live up to his first overall pick potential.
Yeah. I liked what I saw out of Matt Manning and Reese Olson too.
Yeah, and then Skubal.
It's not bad.
Skubal could win a Cy Young. That's how good he is.
He really could. He's nasty. Very, very nasty. And I just think they're decent. Pagoda has them 75.7 wins. I'm going to say.
What did you say? What do you say? 84?
I was going to say like
82?
I was going to say 82,
81,
83. I think so. The low 80s.
Yep. All right.
500 or a couple games better.
I can live with that.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, my question for you then is who do you have finishing higher between the Royals and the Guardians then?
I have the Guardians. It's so tough, but if I'm looking at things, the rotation is just really, really what does it. And although I fully expect Cleveland to trade Shane Bieber by the deadline, but I still think it's that good to where they'll finish ahead of the Royals. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be by much, though. I don't think it's going to be by much. It's and I could be wrong about this. Of course, we could be wrong about this.
We're going to be wrong about some of this.
I mean, are we though? We're just that good. Nah. But even though I'm not a big believer in their offense outside of like J-Ram, Josh Naylor, Stephen Kwan's pretty good. Andres Jimenez, I think we've seen really what his baseline will be last year. If he can play a little bit above that, that'd be fantastic. And that's a decent like top half of the lineup. I think my problem with their lineup is that it's so top heavy. Like Miles Straw, he's just there for defense, man. He's very fast. He plays a very good center field. Brian Rocchio, I don't know. I think he's a fine player. This is gonna be his first full season. I just don't think he's going to be. He lacks punch in that lineup. He might be able to get on base. He might be able to hit for average. Yeah, they have Kyle Manzardo playing. They have him penciled in at first right now, but I think he's going to be a DH, and Josh Naylor is going to play first. And
the toughest thing I think, though, for like people playing them it's going to be tough to score runs against the Guardians.
It will be. Like but you got to score runs to win too.
They could win a lot of games like 2-1, 1-0,
agreed,
and then get blown out like 14-0 a couple of times here and there.
That's true. You do make a point. But also in the bullpen, I just don't know who or how much I trust that bullpen outside of Clase. I love Clase, but I don't know how much I trust Barlow, Sam Hinches. They're good, but I don't know if it's
former Blue Jays outfielder Anthony Gose.
What?
Anthony Gose
in the bullpen?
Yeah, he used to be an outfielder for the Jays, and then he was like out of the league for a couple years, came back, and now he's like throwing 100.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Did not know that. That's pretty legit. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he's one of those back end of the bullpen dudes.
And I don't think he's amazing, but he throws hard.
I mean, that's something. That's a great starting point. That's a fantastic starting point. They have Cleveland 80. We talked about 83.6 wins. I got them around the same, like 80 to 82 wins, around the same as Detroit, but slightly worse. They'll probably finish 2 games below them in my perfect world of my dome.
I think they'll win.
They absolutely could.
That division just stinks. They're good enough starting pitching to do it.
It does. I'm actually nervous though that the ownership won't allow it, because you remember when they traded Josh Bell when they were basically like 2 games out and they needed hitting to like make a push for the division. They traded him when they were only 2 games out. And I'm just like, why are we doing this when we have a chance to actually get to the playoffs? So that was kind of upsetting to me and just perplexing, and just really showed everyone, even Cleveland's fans, where ownership lies, as far as what's important.
That's unfortunate. It
really is.
That's not the way you want to see your team being ran.
No, and that's like, I got the bad feeling that they're going to do that with Bieber. regardless of where they are in the division. Unless they're actually like 90 on the pace to be a 90-win team. But if they're like maybe winning the division around 83, 84 games, then they'll trade him.
Is this his last year of his contract, Bieber?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. But I'm excited to see what he does after going to Driveline because his fastball velo has gone way down. And velo's not everything, but going from 94 to like 91.5 is not a great thing.
Yeah.
In today's,
that doesn't help much.
No, not.
You got to be
different if you. Yeah, go ahead. You were about to say what I was going to say.
You're just like you got to throw pretty hard these days, unless you're like have like the filthiest stuff ever, like
if
Chris Bassett
type. If your velo is going to decrease that dramatically, it's not going to hurt as bad if you're already pumping like high 90s and you go down to like 94 with movement. That in that case, I think it's better. But 91, I don't know, man. Especially, it wouldn't concern me if his like peripherals were fine, but he's not getting anyone to chase, or at least he wasn't last year. But I hope what I'm trying to say is I hope Driveline helps him out, and I hope he can return to form.
We want you to be good in 2024, Shane Bieber. That's what we want. That's what we're saying.
That's right.
Increase that trade value and then go help somebody win a World Series.
Yes. Yes. Fourth place, you have
Kansas City Royals. And also, yeah. I like what they did. And again, like I said, the first time I did this, I had them winning the division because I think it would just be fun for them to like do well. But then I kind of like snapped out of it a little bit, and I still like don't think they're that great. They're better than they were last year, but still don't really have that scary of an offense outside of like, a couple of their pitchers. You're just kind of like, I don't know. So I don't think they're going to do too much damage this year. 70, what did they say? 71.2 wins seems about right.
Yep. I think that's. I agree. I think it's still pretty. There's a lot of things have to go right for them to win the division or be like higher in the standings than the other three that we just listed ahead of them. And I like what they did this offseason. It shows that they're trying. And even if they're projected 71.2 wins by Pacoda, and even if they just stick to that projection, that's 15 games higher than they finished last year, which is wild. I can't believe they only won 56 games.
Yeah, that's
I
crazy.
love the extension. It really is. I love the Bobby Witt Jr. extension. I really do. And Michael Wacha and Seth Lugo, although like they don't have ace level stuff, they're going to get you innings. They throw strikes. They're not horrendous players. They're pretty solid pedigrees over the last couple of years.
Here's my
Hunter Renfroe. Don't really believe in him very much.
He's just never quite been what people thought he would be. Now he's played for like 8 teams in the last like 2 years. It seems like guys on a new team every couple months. My question though is like, the Bobby Witt Jr. extension, it's great. It's great for him. I think it's good for the team. But is that even like, it's not, I don't think it's really a baseball move as much as a business move. Like they want to get that new stadium built. They want to show everybody, hey, we're going to put some money into the team. We're going to keep this kid here for a while. So like, come watch us at the new ballpark. I don't think it's really them trying to win as much as it is,
Yeah, you could make that argument for sure. Absolutely, for sure.
Don't get me wrong. Like signing Bobby Witt Jr. to potentially what does it go to? Potentially 14 years or something.
Yes,
is great. Like any team would want him for that long right now. But yeah, I don't know. Like they didn't bring in any. Like they brought in guys to like make minor improvements, but
agreed.
You haven't really seen the Royals making like a big like landscape shifting move So
No,
until
I
we
agree
kind of
with you
see
there.
something like that, or somebody else kind of really steps up, I don't think they're quite ready to take that step forward yet.
No, and that's mind-blowing too, because they did more than almost any other team in the offseason, which says a lot about
Yeah.
other teams as
No,
well.
this offseason is
Wah, wah.
meh,
But I
meh.
really, I hope Vinny Pasquantino, we see a full healthy year from him. I think maybe they're just trying to like, maybe they see what they have with MJ Melendez, and they think all these guys are kind of like stopgaps. I do really believe in Cole Reagans. I do believe in him. He was disgusting last year after coming over, and like his FIP, his metrics back that up. So I'm hoping he can like have a really, really good season to like really cement himself at the top of that rotation, because they need it. They need it. Brady Singer had a horrible year last year, hoping he can bounce back.
Yeah,
And
they need
just a whole
everything.
bunch of question marks.
They need a lot of
They
things to
do
go
need
right.
everything.
I think they have
They do.
I wouldn't say a really high ceiling, a higher ceiling than they had last year, but
Yes.
they still need a lot of stuff to go right and a lot of guys to have pretty solid years for them to actually like contend. But again, I wouldn't like be surprised if it happened, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, they're also their bullpen is very, very lacking, except for Will Smith, which means he's going to bring a World Series championship to Kansas City. So actually, they're going to trade him to a world, and whoever gets Will Smith is going to win the World Series.
They gave
It's
up
just
the third most runs in all of baseball last year, so I don't think that's going to change too much this
Yeah,
year.
he's basically inevitable.
I was trolling. I don't think the Mariners are going to be very good. A Blue Jays hat. 2015 postseason Blue Jays hat.
Ooh, nice.
The glory days.
That was the glory bat flip days.
So good when we would actually win playoff games. All right. Is it time?
All right.
The meat and potatoes.
Yeah. Do we go over the White Sox?
No. The White Sox are going to be terrible. I don't
White Sox are going to be bad. I do think they're going to hold on to Dylan Cease way too long and maybe not trade him in time to get their value, because, they just have not panned out the last couple of years. It's bad.
What a disappointing team.
It really has been. I say they're the worst team in the American League this year.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say.
That's all you need to say. All right. AL East. AL Beast. Who wins the American League East this year?
Oh man, it's tough.
Twitter will tell you that the Orioles are going to win it again, but I disagree with them.
I don't know what possible.
You think. It's possible.
This one's a little bit tougher. I actually think the Yankees are going to win.
So do I, unfortunately. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I'm actually excited. I'm excited to watch them. I'm excited to watch Juan Soto and Judge back-to-back in that lineup. That's going to be absolutely exciting. I cannot wait for that. I think Garrett Cole is going to have a great year. I think Marcus Stroman is a really, really good get for that rotation. I think Nestor and Rodon have bounce back seasons. And I mean, we know New York has money. They might go get another starter right now before the season starts, or in May
Snell.
if there's still a guy. Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery. I have a feeling that that could happen.
I hate to agree with you on this one because I just don't want them to be good. But I do think they'll end up winning the division. Yeah, I think Soto and Judge are going to both have really good years, and they're going to probably be like 1-2 in AL MVP voting at the end of the year now that Ohtani's gone. Yeah. And I still think they lack a lot of depth, but like it's hard to bet against like a lineup that has Judge and Soto at the top and a rotation that's anchored by Garrett Cole.
Yeah. I really like Glaber as well. Like Glaber. I'm not a big Verdugo guy, but he's gonna be okay out there and left.
I hate that guy. He might be my most hated player in all of baseball.
That's understandable. But Giancarlo Stanton, hopefully he can kind of mash a little bit. He still hits the ball extremely hard. Don't know how many games you're going to get out of him. And last year when he was hitting, it wasn't good. But I would like to see Volpe kind of progress. Going 2020 was pretty decent, despite him having an OPS of 666. Very, very low when you look at those.
Volpe stands are hilarious to me because they're like, oh, he hit more home runs than Bo Bichette and this guy and that guy and whatever, blah blah blah. But I'm like, man, look at like the rest of his hitting stats. Like he wasn't good last year.
Yeah, he wasn't very good. He does some good things.
He wasn't great defensively either, but he
was actually. I think he was.
I don't know. I wouldn't say great. Okay.
He was. I know he put up like 15 defensive runs saved.
Yeah. How many Yankees games do you watch?
That's true. That's true.
Hey, come at me, Yankee fans. I don't like your team, and I don't want to say good things about them, even though I said they're going to win a division. There's my nice thing. Everything else, they can all go rot.
I like all baseball teams, so y'all can talk to me, I guess.
You're so polite.
I'm a baseball guy. I enjoy.
I love baseball.
Good baseball.
Like, there's nothing I want more than for them to fail.
I see. All right, then.
It's tough.
That's okay.
It's tough for me. Like, I'll never enjoy the Yankees being good. Like, yeah. I enjoy baseball. And, like, I understand that it's good for the sport of baseball for them to be good. But as a fan of a team in their division, I never want them to do well.
That's understandable.
That's
very understandable.
I don't like wish injuries upon them. I like Judge as a player, Soto. I always like Stanton, but I'm never going to cheer for these guys.
That's understandable.
Unless I think the only situation would be, I was going to say if they somehow played the Dodgers in the World Series, I might cheer for the Yankees. And that actually,
I don't know who I'd cheer for.
Me to say.
I don't know who I'd cheer for.
But anyway, they're going to be good. Better than I want them to be. Unless they're not. Like,
yeah, that's
Judge
true.
runs into a wall again. Like, that's all it took last year. I mean, Rodon was really bad and Cortez was bad, but like, if Aaron Judge was healthy that whole season, they would have been better. Like, obviously,
absolutely,
he runs into the wall. I mean, like, that's almost like I think why you have Soto more than anything. Aaron Judge goes down. He's just such a big dude that it's just like
he really is a big dude. I'm a little bit worried about him playing center because I know it's more demanding. I'd love for him to be able to DH a little bit, having him DH a little bit, but I mean, then you're gonna have to. Stanton probably gonna be on the IL at some point.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
it's tough to ever put Stanton in the field. Like,
yeah, that's not
Verdugo's
without question
not amazing. He's okay. He's okay. He's got a decent arm, but
yeah. Whenever Stanton is out on the IL, then that opens things up, I guess, a little bit for Judge to be the DH every now and then and take a little bit of pressure off his body. I mean, I hate to say that that's what it takes is getting Stanton on the IL. I never want him to get hurt or anything like that, but it's just what's happened over the past couple years.
Yeah.
And dude, I love watching Stanton hit bombs.
He has the weirdest short swing that just launches nukes to outer space. It's like such a aggressive, like just like it's like it doesn't even look like he does anything besides just like moves his arms and the ball just goes 500 feet.
Dude, he's just a big, powerful dude. He's just so powerful. Absolutely.
If something happens and like whether it's an injury or they just play poorly or whatever, if the Yankees are like out of it ish by the deadline, do you think they move Soto?
I think they have to.
I think they would.
If they're out of it, they have to. They have to move him. We have learned things from last year. If you are not in the picture and you have someone who's extremely talented, you have to get something in return. Absolutely.
I almost
unless they extend him first.
Well, no, I was going to say there could be a world where they like play really well and everybody else is playing good enough that you still trade him. But
no, no, that would be horrible. I feel like, oh man,
no, I mean, not if he's like the best player on your team and you're winning, then I don't know. Like, I just like if it's hard to like not get something for him. I think. Well, it depends. There's too many things. If they're not doing well, they would be dumb not to. I think like, would I bet on him getting traded this year? I don't know if I would. I wonder what like a betting odds would be on that right now.
I think they're kind of low. If I'm being honest,
I can really see them doing just the Chapman move, trade him, get themselves a new Glaber Torres, and then get him back in the offseason for $500 million or whatever.
Actually, I think they could. I think low key Washington could snag him again. I just saw an interview or someone asked him a question saying he did not want to leave Washington.
But would he want to go back? They're so bad now.
I don't know. He loved it there. He loved it. He loved the organization. I mean, put him in an outfield with up-and-comers like James Wood and Dylan Cruz. He could be the DH.
Maybe it'll be different if they like make the ALCS this year. They'd be like, oh, this is what it's like. Well, I guess he won a World Series, but their team is way better.
That's true. Maybe that might give me more fire. He remembers how that feels in Washington. How cool of a story would it be for him to go back to the team that signed him and bring them back
to glory?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that's a story right there. That's one I'd be interested in.
I can't wait for the Blue Jays to come in second and trying to sign him next offseason.
That'd be wild.
That's all we do is come in second, man. Like Corey Seager.
So did the Rangers, though. You come in second, you get the World Series, man.
What did the Rangers come in second for?
Didn't they come in second last year? Or no, they won the division last year.
Oh, no, I meant like being like the team that loses out and signing free agents.
Oh, got you.
Not like second in the division.
Got you. My bad.
Like the Blue Jays are always the bridesmaid when it comes to signing big free agents, as we witnessed with Ohtani and Corey Seager.
Yeah.
All these guys they try to sign, and it's going to happen. I can almost guarantee you right now it'll happen next year with Juan Soto. We're going to offer him just as much money as anybody else, and he's going to choose the other team, whoever it is. He'll probably go to the Dodgers for $600 million with $595 of it deferred to 2075.
That'd be terrible, but oh my God, it's hard to bet against it at this point.
Yeah. Well,
it's very difficult to bet
enough about those stupid Bronx Bombers. Who do you have? Who's your second place American League East team? Because I think this is like the hardest one to pick probably in all of the divisions. The second place team. Yeah.
You know what? Before Kyle Bradish went down, I had Baltimore, but I'm going Toronto now.
Yes. I like it. I also have them in second place. Their pitching is so good. Underrated somehow, good. I think. People don't really realize. I think a lot of people are thinking everybody's gonna like regress, but I don't. I think they'll be just as good or better. Even if everyone
takes a little bit, even if someone like takes a little bit a step back, it's still a very good like top three. Gausman, Berrios, and Bassett. So pretty great pitchers. Berrios had a great year last year. Kikuchi even had a fantastic year last year. And Manoah, if he bounces back, that could be a great weapon. I mean, it doesn't look amazing, and I can't bet on it. But even if he doesn't bounce back, you might have an option like Tiedemann. He might light it up in the minors. He might be ready soon-ish for a call.
Oh, I can't wait to see what that guy can do in the major leagues. I think Bowden Francis would be like our first call up if we need somebody to start a game. If he doesn't make the team as like a long reliever, but I don't think he will. They want him to start games, so he'll either be starting in in AAA, or he might be even. I wouldn't be. I could see a world where Alek Manoah doesn't make the team out of spring training.
I can absolutely see that too.
So it'll be interesting to see.
I hope it doesn't happen. I do think Vlad's going to have a big year, and that's part of the reason why I do put them in second. There's a lot of questions that I kind of have a little bit in their lineup outside of Bo and Vlad. I do like Justin Turner. I like George Springer, but they are older. George Springer's getting a little older. I hope he can have a great year. Hope Justin Turner puts up a year similar to the last couple years. And I obviously hope Alejandro Kirk has a season like he did in 22, right? Where he was really good.
Silver Slugger.
Yeah, would like to see that. And Danny Jansen obviously has that power. So even if Kirk doesn't have that kind of year, that's a solid duo. That's a very solid duo. And they're going to have excellent outfield defense. That is a sure thing. Defense never sleeps.
Reigning Gold Glover, Kiermaier's back. Varsho should have won the Platinum Glove, but played too much center field to even get a Gold Glove. He's the best outfield defender in the league. He was last year.
Yeah, he's very good. Extreme. He's amazing.
Yeah, like I still don't really get the IKF signing. There's still like a weird scenario where we could bring back Matt Chapman. I think we're like the only team that doesn't have to give up a pick if we sign him.
That's a good
little
tidbit.
Like if he gets like a similar, slightly less than Bellinger deal with opt-outs, like could kind of work. Although I wouldn't have wanted the Blue Jays to sign that Bellinger deal.
The 3-year deal?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Here's why.
I think he would have taken that.
Look, I would have taken Cody Bellinger on my team no matter what, and it's not my money. If I put myself in an owner's shoes, because I think they could have offered maybe not a higher AAV, but a better, like a longer contract with more money. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. But here's where I sit with Bellinger, because he's been so up and down that if he plays well, he's just gone after next year. He opts out, gets more money. And if he doesn't play well, then you're on the hook for another $50 million for 2 more years. Like it's kind of, I think it's a win-win for Bellinger, lose-lose for the team.
That's an excellent observation.
So
excellent.
Like everybody just looks at the $80 million and like, that's not $200 million. That's a good deal. But it's like, is it, if you like look at it closer? Because if he has a good year, he'll just go back to free agency next year. And you got to pay him even more money, or he'll go somewhere else. And then, if he doesn't have a good year, then he opts in, and then it's like, okay, is he going to be worth $50 million more? Because they're still paying him $30 million this year. That would make him the highest paid player on the Blue Jays. Like, like nobody on the Jays is making $30 million a year this year. So
that makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Now, is MVP Bellinger worth $30 million a year? Yes. Is like 2021 Bellinger worth $30 million a year? No.
Is 2023 Belly worth it though?
I don't know. That's
I
tough.
think the days of MVP Belly are done. Like I think that's done. Yeah. As far as what type of player he was when he won the MVP.
Yeah.
He's not, I don't think he's ever going to be that like 40-ish home run dude anymore. He just doesn't hit the ball as hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
As consistently. And what he has turned him in, if like this is the type of player he is now, it's a fantastic player. Very, very good player. But I don't know if it's an MVP type player. An all-star.
Right. Yeah.
Very good player.
Like, would I take 2023 Bellinger over 2023 Kevin Kiermaier as my starting center fielder? Yes, I would. Although I feel like if we sign Bellinger, I don't know if he would. Well, maybe he'd play center, but we still have Varsho. I still think like Dalton Varsho is going to eventually, probably next year, be the starting center fielder. And I think here's the thing with the Blue Jays: it does not matter who we bring in. Even if it was Ohtani, that we all know Ohtani was the business move more than the baseball move for any team that's going to sign him anyway. Like he helps your baseball team, he makes them better, but you're not. You only pay one person $700 million, and it's because you know you're going to make money back with so many other avenues of revenue.
100%.
But the Blue Jays, like, if it wouldn't matter, even if we brought in Ohtani, if a Vlad, Springer, Kirk, even Bo had a decent year, but he was still below his career average last year. Like, if those 4 guys don't have like career average or above years, this team goes nowhere anyway. Like, they're probably still good enough to like make the playoffs. Yeah. So this team is always going to go as good as like those 4 guys, maybe 5 if you had Kirk in there. Or I don't know if I said Kirk and Jansen. But again, I still think the Blue Jays have arguably the highest ceiling in the American League as an entire team. Like, maybe not specifically offensively, because Texas is going to be really tough to like outscore them. But even like, I don't know, there's still a world where like Kevin Biggio, Davis Schneider can give you like solid offensive seasons.
Agreed.
Biggio had like a 400 OP on base percentage the last half of the year last year. Like, if he does that for a whole year in the 7 or 8 spot in your lineup, like,
you'll take that.
Yeah. But again,
take that all day.
If everybody plays like they did last year, we're probably missing the playoffs or getting bounced in the wild card again. So I don't know. But I think a lot of them are going to figure it out. Everything I've heard them talk about is, we're ready. We're not talking about it anymore. We just need to prove that we're as good as we've said we are for the last few years. So
word. I feel that.
And who knows? Maybe we bring back still Matt Chapman.
I think that'd be a great move. Have IKF on the bench as a utility role. I think that'd be fantastic.
It'll be interesting.
I really do. That will. All right. Who you got third?
Baltimore Orioles, the Young Guns.
Same here.
That like a lot of people think they're gonna like that. It's a no-brainer that they're gonna repeat, win 100 games again.
I don't think it's a no-brainer. I think it's possible.
It's possible.
I don't think it's a no-brainer, though. Don't think it's a no-brainer. I absolutely do love the trade for Corbin Burns. That was absolutely great, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think like that.
He's one of the best pitchers in baseball. That left field, man, he's not going to have anybody right-handed take him yard, at least at the pool side. Or very few. Very few.
Yeah, it's tough to hit it out there. Even in MLB The Show, it's tough to hit it out there.
For real, man. It's almost impossible. Where the questions arise is the outside of Corbin Burns and even maybe Grayson Rodriguez. Like, if Kyle Bradish's injury is as severe, did they say he's going to have Tommy John or anything?
I haven't heard yet.
Okay, because if he needs to have Tommy John, that's a big issue. That's a big issue, and that's a good thing they went and got Corbin Burns. But Grayson's still learning.
UCL sprain could lead if it becomes a partial tear or full tear, but apparently he threw from 90 feet on Tuesday, according to one website. So we'll see. Who knows?
That's encouraging. That's a little encouraging, but still a little skeptical about that. But I really love their same thing with Felix Bautista, man. It just sucks to see him injured. It really does. He looked like Ronnie Coleman out there on the mound, and crazy. And apparently, John Means has been dealing with elbow soreness since the playoffs, I guess.
I don't even remember like how much John Means, like even seeing him that much last year.
We haven't seen him very much at all. He's been like a mythical creature. Unfortunately, I really like John Means.
He started 6 games in the last 2 years.
Yeah, it's been unfortunate. I really, really want to see him healthy. And let's see who else did they bring in? They brought in who else? They brought in Craig Kimbrell.
Yeah,
not
he's
extremely
not
great. I mean, he's
he
still
was all
good.
right last year, but he's not Felix Bautista.
No.
Not even close.
He's not
So
the Craig Kimbrell of old.
yeah, like
Unfortunately, I do.
he's not bad with him and Cano as like they're the the 8-9 inning guys. That's not bad. Like that's definitely more than serviceable.
Very much so. Very much so.
Just
I do like.
my
Go ahead. Sorry.
my thing with the Orioles is like I understand how talented all these young guys are, but there's still it's a lot riding on a lot of young guys.
That's true. Yep.
Like
absolutely.
I don't know. It's just that like I feel like that's just like you never know. Like are all these guys as sure of things as everybody seems to think they are?
I think Adley is pretty much a sure thing. Right. And I think Gunner's close. And I think we know what we're getting with Santander. He's been pretty consistent over the last however many seasons, like 2-3 seasons. Cedric Mullins, he's a good player. I don't think he's the 30 home run Cedric Mullins that we saw back in, what was that, 21?
Mm-hmm.
Still a good player. Still a very good player. Austin Hayes, same sort of situation. Maybe he's not a sure thing in my mind.
Like Pacoda has them fourth in the division.
That's pretty crazy.
And again, that wouldn't surprise me. Like, this might be my hottest take. I would not be surprised if Baltimore finished under 500. I don't think they're going to, but I would not be surprised. This is like,
that's
I guess
the same take, but I'm here
thing,
for
like,
it.
Hey, I said Shohei Ohtani is getting $700 million on this podcast. And like 2 days, like 3 days later, that's exactly what he got. And I said, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if like these guys just kind of like, they could put up similar stats and just like the timing of when they get their hits go the other way. Like, again, they as a team, they had like less home runs, more strikeouts, less hits and stuff than the Blue Jays, but they just hit at the right times and then won a bunch of games, right? Like, and they had Felix Bautista, who like nobody could do anything off of except for Kyle Tucker that one game. But
no one hits Felix Bautista, man.
Like
it's tough. He's one of the toughest pitchers to hit. It was one of the toughest pitchers to hit. I hope he comes back from Tommy John 2025 very good. But you could say, I think them finishing under 500 is absolutely not as bold of a take as a lot of people think it is. And you could tell me they win the division. Either one of those. There's a world where that happens. Absolutely. 100%. How many different phrases of absolutely can I use? That's what really we're here to find out. Absolutely. 86.3 wins is what they have as Pacoda.
I think that's fair.
I think it's pretty close. Yeah, I do.
I think Toronto, Tampa Bay, and Baltimore are all going to be between like 84 and 90. They could all win 90 games, and two of those teams could miss the playoffs.
This could be like the AL Central, except 10 games better, if that makes sense.
Except with good teams.
with better teams. It's like the AL Central, but with better teams.
I'm assuming.
And so, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm assuming we both have the Red Sox as fifth place.
Yes.
But I also could like. This is the one thing I know.
Did we talk about Tampa?
We have not yet. We'll get to.
Okay.
I just want to interject here with the Red Sox. This is just my lifelong fandom of being a Blue Jays fan and grinding the AL East every year is that, like, besides Baltimore for a while, and obviously now they're good, but like, none of these teams stay bad for long. Like the Boston Red Sox are never going to be bad for long. The Yankees are never going to be bad for long. Like they had a stretch where they were like didn't finish worse than I think second in the division for like almost 20 years or something like that. But the Red Sox, like I think the Red Sox also are like a weird team that could go on a run at one point, like do well. I still think they finished last, but
agreed. They might You know Jared Carabas?
Yeah.
I think he said they might be the best last place team in history in 2024.
It was
I think he
late.
has something there, man.
It was late in the season last year, and they were like every team was 500 or above in the division.
Nuts, man.
Like three-quarters of the way through the year. And I think it's going to be like that again this year.
I think it's absolutely possible. Pacoda has them barely below 500, 79 and a half
79 and a half.
I think that's a reasonable projection.
Betting the over on 79 and a half is not a bad bet. Maybe not a great bet, but not a bad bet.
Not a bad bet whatsoever. I really do like some of their players too. I absolutely love Casas. I really like Von Grissom. I'm going to miss him as a Braves fan, but there just wasn't a spot for him. I really hope he pops off because he can with the bat. He has the potential to do it, but he is pretty rough in the field. I do think he will translate to second base better. Masataka Yoshida, solid first season. You know, it wasn't amazing. He didn't hit for any power, but he still had a decent year at the plate. He gets on base. He hits for average. They're still valuable. There's still value in that. Well, maybe he doesn't get on base as much as I thought he did, but he still hit for 289 average. It's not bad. 15 home runs. He was pretty awful in the field from what I remember.
I forgot they got Tyler O'Neill.
I forgot about, or
but he hasn't been great in the last couple of years anyway.
I forgot about Trevor Story being there, to be honest.
Trevor Story is on that team. And then there's always Devers. Like, Devers is just so good. I think Devers is going to hit like 45 home runs this year.
I would absolutely love for that to happen. He showed up to spring training beefy, man.
Did he?
I'm not sure if all of that was the
beefy, like jacked, or beefy just like big.
There's a couple different pictures that could depict either one of those claims. One of them, not so much, but one of the ones I saw, I was like, dang, he put on some mass. He cultivated some mass.
Be like Alek Manoah in spring training last year.
Yeah. That's maybe not a good thing. Maybe not a good thing. But, I mean, there's some things to like about this lineup. I'm excited to watch, or I'm excited to see what Jarren Duran does. Excited about him. Wilyer Abreu, he actually did some things last year in a short sample size with Boston, and he actually had a very nice year in AAA last year. Now, probably not going to translate through a full season, but I mean, that's something to look forward to, something you can't look forward to. And I just don't know what Trevor Story is going to give you. I feel like that could be an absolute.
Who knows?
I hope he gives you something good. I think it is funny, people on Twitter making fun of their owners saying full throttle this offseason, and then their big signing was Lucas Giolito. I would have liked everything about that signing had you not said full throttle beforehand. I think it's a solid 2-year deal. I do think Lucas Giolito still has swing and miss stuff. His numbers in the last 2 months of last year with the Angels and Cleveland really weigh his overall numbers down. He was actually having a decent year in Chicago.
Well, I mean, that's like trades. Why they went and got him. He was not bad, and then all of a sudden he just was.
Yeah,
maybe
it's crazy.
Maybe it was up here. Maybe he just wasn't ready for that pressure.
I think
of like,
so. I think he was going
win these games and show what I can do, and then
I think he was actually, from what I heard, I think he was going through some personal things. I think he and his wife just recently separated.
Oh.
So I don't know if that's anything.
That would be something.
That would be something, especially if you got traded in the middle of that and then you can't deal with things. You know, in the town that you were dealing with things.
And the Reds
would be. Go ahead.
Sorry. I was just saying the Red Sox are a team that they could still get a Jordan Montgomery. They're not a team that doesn't try and make things happen. So who knows if they're close to it at the deadline? I have a weird feeling this trade deadline is going to be way more exciting than the offseason was. We'll go with that.
Dude, at this point, I think every trade deadline is more entertaining than the offseason.
Yeah, they got to figure it out.
There's a deadline. You knew something has to happen.
Because there's a deadline. That's probably why. That makes sense.
I am not saying that I want an off-season deadline. I am not saying that. But
if there was, something's going to happen. It would be kind of exciting. I don't know how it would work. You can't really make it work, but like,
yeah, there's just
they'd have to if they like tiered the amount of money you could offer people. Like after this, it goes down by 25%.
That's crazy. That is absolutely nuts. Like, I'm not saying your take on that or your suggestion is crazy. It's just crazy to think about like what they could potentially do if they were to invoke sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like who gets penalized? Who gets penalized? Like if a player is doing their best to try to like make something happen, do the teams get penalized or
have the agents percentage go down? Scott Boras makes less money. Scort Boras.
Scort Boras. Man, it's just been.
It's just weird.
At what point do the?
Go ahead.
Yeah. At what point do the players look for new agents?
I don't think they will. Like he's still making them tons of money. So
I feel like this has to happen at least several more years, and the players have to lose money by not being signed until like June or July or something.
Cody Million is still getting paid $30 million this year. So
that's crazy.
Like,
I mean, I'm talking like that's not bad. I'm still talking like a June or July holdout.
Yeah, we'll see. I feel there's going to be at least one. I know you said Snell, you think, but who knows? Somebody for sure.
Absolutely. I think the funny thing is, if it's a pitcher like Snell, he probably won't lose any money. The team who gets him if it's in June or July, they're going to be needing his services desperately and probably pay even more potentially. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's true. All right, we have one team left here. The Tampa Bay Rays.
We both think they're going to finish fourth, right?
Yep. Well, we both have picked them to finish fourth.
That's true.
Where are they going to... The Tampa Bay Rays, it's another thing that I know. Living in the AL East, they're never... Since, like, they used to be always bad. Now they're just never bad. They're just not. Doesn't matter who plays for their team. It doesn't matter who gets injured. They still win like 90+ games. They make every pitcher into like the filthiest pitcher of all time.
Jeffrey Springs, Drew Rasmussen. Who had these guys like finishing or being disgusting? I had never heard of these guys.
This is the thing.
Never heard of these guys.
Like
before last year. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just living under a rock. Maybe it's only because I'm kind of newish to the broader baseball world where I'm looking at teams more outside of my realm. But man, it's just what they do with their players, especially pitchers, is just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. Like I'm looking at their depth chart right now, but I don't even like care who it is. Like they got Phil Maton now from the Astros, who like he was always serviceable for the Astros. I mean, they're another team that develops pitching really well, but so it means he's probably going to be even better. Ryan Pepio was like decent for the Dodgers in his little short amount that he pitched last year. So he'll probably be their ace by the end of the season this year. Everybody does well. It doesn't matter who they are. They just know.
I honestly like that trade more for the Rays in some regards. I think Glasnow is better now, but he's getting a little bit older. Ryan Pepio didn't even do that poorly last year. That might be a wild take. That might be an absolute crazy take, but I mean,
we'll see at the end of the year.
And the Rays, this is just how the Rays operate. They have 5 more years of control with Ryan Pepio.
Yeah. And once he's actually deserving to get paid $15+ million, he will not be on that team anymore. He will be gone.
It's time for the White Sox to be in contention again, and that's who they're going to trade
like
Dylan Cease for.
and I mean their
Make
lineup
0 sense.
is pretty much the same as last year.
Yep. There's one less switch hitter.
Yeah, one less. But, how much did he even play last year? Did he play the whole season last year?
He was playing a pretty good bit. He was on track to have a very good year.
Oh, yeah. He had 5.5 or played 112 games. All right.
Pretty good.
Not bad.
Pretty good. That's on a
but somebody else
somebody
else will step up and
Junior Caminero maybe
Ahmed Rosario actually plays well this year.
Low key, the guy they brought back in the Luke Raley trade is a pretty solid choice. Jose Caballero, pretty good defender. He steals some bags. Doesn't do much with the bat at all, but I mean, stealing bases and playing some pretty good defense. That's not a terrible way to fix that hole until a guy like Junior Caminero is ready to come up and mash home runs.
Yeah, he was decent to finish the year last year.
Yeah, I had no idea about this guy either. Again, shows how much of a noob I am.
Tampa Bay Rays fan you are?
Right.
I mean, there's really no real Tampa Bay Rays fans.
Oh, jeez.
Except for I know
the real St. Petersburg Rays fan team.
I know one or
Rays
two,
fans.
but not many. I don't know. It just feels like this is the year that they kind of regress a bit.
I think
like
so.
it. And I think a lot of people are kind of feeling that way. But we'll see.
I love some of those guys. Yandy Diaz, love that guy. Love Randy Rosarena, electric in the WBC. Isaac Paredes scares me because of his underlying metrics. But if he does the same thing again with the same metrics, then I will shut my mouth. Josh Lowe is a very, very good player. He had a very good year last year. I enjoy watching his game. Brandon Lau, amazing pop from second base when he's healthy and plays a full year. So there are things to like about that lineup, but I agree with you. There are things that are maybe a little bit question marks.
Harold Ramirez isn't even slotted to be in their starting 9 hitters, and he's arguably
is
their
he
best
on the team. Oh,
their best he's one of their best actual pure hitters on there. That guy hits everything.
He does. I wonder why. I don't know if you're looking at FanGraphs, but they have Jonathan Aranda as the DH right this second. And I don't know about that. I mean, Harold Ramirez, pretty good piece, but I mean, you have to put these lineups out there if you're making one of these opening day projected lineups. But that's not necessarily how the Rays operate. They move around pieces, and they can't really show that on FanGraphs.
Yeah, they're a matchup. It's just they just play matchups. It's playing against them sucks. I have pitching to this team sucks because it's just matchups after matchups, and everybody's can slap the ball around. Obviously they got a couple guys that'll do some damage, like Brandon Lau, Rosarena, Yandy, but it's just everybody comes in and just does things.
It's crazy. And even with missing, it's crazy to look at their rotation right now and be like, Savale is pretty solid. Zach Eflin was nuts with them last year. Zach Littell's solid. Taj Bradley had some decent, he has some solid potential. Didn't pitch too poorly last year. I know you have that one card of his, which looks amazing.
I need Taj Bradley to up his card value this year. Go off. Go off, Taj.
I hope he does. I like that. I like that. I like him as a pitcher. It's crazy that Rasmussen, Jeffrey Springs, and Shane McClanahan are all down.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. And it sucks too, because I don't think we'll see Jeffrey Springs until later in the year. I doubt we see McClanahan at all this year because he went down in August. And as far as I know, the timetable for Tommy John as a pitcher is still around 12 or 14 to 16 months.
Yeah.
When you're at 100. I know with modern medicine and science, it's getting to be shorter for guys like Bryce Harper who are not pitchers. But
or whatever weird surgery that wasn't Tommy John that Ohtani had.
yeah, I'm like scared of that. I almost like, again, I don't know the details of that procedure. I don't know the outcomes of that procedure.
Oh yeah, people are
I
getting
almost would. What?
people way above my pay grade are making those decisions.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd rather have just bit the bullet and had Tommy John. Because what if this is just a temporary setback or like a temporary fix, you know?
We'll find out when he throws that first 100-mile-an-hour fastball in 2025, I guess.
That's true. Then if it's 100 miles an hour, it may not be so temporary then. Might be a permanent fix. But I don't know. That's, again, I don't know everything. I like learning. I like asking questions. I want to absorb as much of this as possible. And that way I can give you the best projections I can, the best boldest takes.
The boldest
Of takes, even
just,
though I don't think we
clicks.
had any really
just for clicks.
Just for clicks.
We're gonna actually that, you know what, that's we should rename it. We'll rename the pod the Just for Clicks podcast.
I like that
because we just do it for clicks.
Do it for clicks. Do it for clicks.
You heard it here at the Dish listeners. We don't know everything. We act like we do. We like learning, and we're just doing it for clicks.
Just absolute clicks.
All right, so I care about. Here is my last question. We'll end off with this. Which team comes out of the American League and makes the World Series? I mean, I know in your video, your answer should align with that. So I think I know the answer.
I don't think it will, and I can't even think of it. I think it's. Oh yes, never mind. I think it will align with it. To be honest, I do think it's going to be the Rangers. I almost said the Yankees.
I think it's going to be the Astros. call me a dummy or whatever.
No, it's just call me a dummy. You know how hard it is to repeat? It's crazy. Who's the last team that repeat? I think it was the Yankees in the 90s.
Yes.
I almost said the Yankees would be there, but just I think the Rangers this year under different circumstances, like getting Scherzer and DeGrom back at the best time, if they're healthy, could absolutely lead them to that promised land. But it would be funny if it did come true in your end and the Astros beat the Rangers in 7 games in the ALCS.
Ooh, that could be something.
That would be some high ratings TV right there. That would have higher ratings than the eventual Astros versus Marlins World Series.
Like anyone except the Dodgers, probably.
Yeah.
If the Dodgers are in the World Series this year, it's going to be the most watched World Series of all time.
Do you think so?
Yes.
I almost think I feel like if it's the Astros Dodgers, it will be. I feel like it will be the most watched by Japan, but it will be the least watched by the United States.
I don't know. It's Ohtani in the World Series. People have been waiting for this for years, and in the first year, that's like when LeBron went to Miami and they went to the finals 4 years in a row. People love that shit.
Oh man, you have a very good point there, and I think you're right. I do think you're right.
People will hate themselves for watching it and loving it so much, myself probably included. But if Ohtani is in the World Series, it's going to be hard not to watch it.
Yeah,
doesn't matter who they play. They could be playing the Astros or the Mariners, actually the Mariners would be really good. People would love that too.
I could lie to myself.
And if it was the Yankees and the Dodgers, if that World Series happens, it'll like baseball might be like actually popular again. Like
baseball might peak.
Baseball might peak.
That
I don't want that to happen.
Bring back steroids and it will peak. I can lie to myself all day and say that I want an unexpected team in the World Series, like how it was the Rangers and the D-backs. Look at the TV ratings, one of the worst of all time. Doesn't mean that I didn't enjoy it. I did enjoy it, but at the same time, is it going to be a popular World Series?
I was definitely less invested than I thought I was going to be. Like the first game, I was like, this first game is amazing. And then I just kind of like stopped watching it. I don't, for no reason at all. I just kind of like, okay. Texas wins.
I didn't watch a single game because I was at Disney World.
Oh, that sounds
But that's the only reason. It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
Maybe don't plan it during the World Series next year and you can actually watch some.
I know. I thought I was going to do a little reverse psychology there. And like, I'm going to schedule something to where I can't watch it. So that way that when the Braves are eventually in there, then I won't jinx them. But that didn't work out. And every time I buy YouTube TV to watch the playoffs and to watch my team, they get bounced first round. So I'm like, well, I'm not doing that anymore. I guess I'll just watch game day, the simulation part.
Yeah, that's fair.
Anyway, I'm rambling.
That's what this is for, man. People are here. Our 30 YouTube viewers are here to watch you ramble. And we appreciate every single one of you. Comment
you know what's
down
cool
below.
about
How much do you love Noob's rambling? I want to hear about it.
You don't even have to watch it. You can listen to it on your Spotify and Apple Podcasts while you're on your commute to work.
To it on your iPod Nano. You can listen to it on your old MP3 player. No, you probably couldn't actually.
MP3 player gang, rise up, dude.
Yeah, you could like record this onto a cassette tape and play that in your Walkman.
I'm
just showing people how old I am now.
You can illegally download it from Kazaa and LimeWire.
Oh, I haven't heard that in a while.
I haven't either. You know LimeWire's back though. Apparently, been seeing the ads all over Twitter.
Sounds like it's gonna fail. Like when
Justin
Timberlake bought MySpace and tried to make it a thing.
Did that happen?
I think so.
I had no idea.
Maybe I made it up. We tell lies on At the Dish. I think it's true though. All right, everybody.
I like it.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.
Appreciate y'all watching.
We appreciate you. Noob, always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure, man. Always fun. Deuces. Later. Bye.